Losing to gain sounds absurd to most of us, yet this paradox was taught by Jesus to address those who cling to life on their terms instead of God's. We're going to be exploring this idea based on the words of Jesus today on Soul Zero 02. And welcome to Soul Zero 02. This is the podcast that is putting the oxygen back into the Christian life one soul at a time. And we're living in tumultuous times, and there's always something to worry about, always something to fret about. And I want to encourage you today, just with the words of Jesus, of where your investment has to be. And we find that the words of Henry Nouwen are beautiful in terms of the call to discipleship, where he says this: the reflective impulse of our culture is to hold on to our lives by clinging to money and status, relationships and popularity. And isn't this true? Based on the way we live, if I cling to it, I'll keep it and I'll have it and I will never let go. And we find though that it's almost like trying to grasp water, that it just always slips through your fingers when you really cling to something that God never gave you to cling to. And there's the human will to hold on and not give in and just cling to something that you want, whether it's God blessed or not. And we as Westerners pride ourselves in writing our own story. We can become whatever we want and pursue any dream we desire, and our fate is in our own hands. And all we have to do is just work hard and allow nothing to get in our way and just keep holding on to it till we get it. And it reminds me a little bit of Macbeth, Shakespeare's Macbeth in Act 1 and scene 7, where Macbeth, who wants to be king, he says these words. He talks about the vaulting ambition which o'erleaps itself. In other words, the vaulting speaks of the obstacles that he's going to have to overcome in order to become king with his ambition. And this is part of the human spirit, the desire to do it and get it done and cling until we get what we want. And yet we have the haunting words of Jesus to his people, because this podcast is for believers. And if you're not a believer, keep listening. But if you're a believer, this is what God requires. Luke 17:32 says, remember what happened to Lot's wife. If you grasp and cling to life on your terms, you'll lose it. But if you let that life go, you'll get life on God's terms. And this is the Message version, which to me was the best version. I have probably over 64 versions of Bibles that in my software, but and I checked all of them. This was the best one in my opinion. And Lot's wife, Jesus is referring to, that she was from Sodom and Gomorrah, and God was going to destroy the city because of the wickedness. And he said, just flee, just get out of here, because this place is going down. And she looked back, and the Bible says that she became a pillar of salt, which means that she looked back and she stayed too long, and the blast that destroyed the city destroyed her. And we find that it's funny how Jesus says, remember that what you cling to, right? What you cling to is going to destroy you. So we have this great paradox of losing to gain. And what you cling to can destroy you. That's the first thing I want to say today. What you cling to can destroy you. Let me rephrase that. It can elude you and destroy you, right? And can destroy you. And if you cling to your happiness, in other words, that is exactly what you're going to lose, your happiness. If you cling to something or someone, like a relationship, you're going to lose them. If you cling to the desire and lust for fame and greatness and importance, you'll find that it's going to disappear like smoke. And if you want to make a name for yourself, you're going to end up becoming marginalized. This is the economy of God. This is Jesus saying this is how it is. This is because God is God. This is how he set up the rules. And even if you do get what you want, right? You fight really hard, you cling and say, I want this no matter what. I don't care. Not even God can stop me. Even if you do get what you want, it's going to cost your soul to get it in the end. Psalm 106:15 puts it this way: so he gave to them their request, but he sent leanness into their souls. Other versions call it wasting disease. God sent them wasting disease. And I don't know that God makes you sick if you don't listen to him, as much as it's leanness. Here's another version that might bring some light to it. Again, the Message version. Psalm 106:15, that says, he gave them exactly what they asked for, but along with it, they got an empty heart. I think that says it all right there. That how many people do you know that have everything, but in their hearts, in their life, they have nothing? They're starving to death. They're empty. They're vacuous inside. And here lies the irony, that those who lose their lives will gain them. This is the other part I want to say to you, that what you release to God will cling to you and bless you. That's the opposite of the other one, which was basically what you cling to will elude you and can destroy you. Now here, what you release to God will cling to you and actually bless you. And that's ironic. It's amazing, but it's God's economy. We exert clutching behavior. I think we're afraid of losing stuff, right? And God is saying, just put it in my hands. I'll take care of it. Lose it, because you'll find, if I don't give you that, you'll get something better anyway, and you're going to love it so much, you're going to say, why did I want that to begin with? And when I say stuff, I don't mean like riches and dumb things, material things. I mean things like significance. When you surrender your need for significance to God and do it on his terms, he's the one that'll give you significance. If you want that promotion at work that you've been struggling for and saying, man, I wish they'd notice me, let God do it. Let God do it. Surrender it to God. Don't become ambitious in a carnal way. Yes, work hard. Yes, be excellent. Work with excellence. But don't do it the world's way, where you're clinging to this need for importance. What about the dreams? Your personal dreams and your personal vision. We all have them. We all have these dreams we want to accomplish in God's eyes. What about relationships? Maybe you're in love with someone, or you want to get married, or and you're lonely. And surrender it to God. Don't just jump around and cling to people. Let God do it. I remember before I met my wife 32 years ago, I was only like 29 years old, and I said, you know what, Lord, I'm not going to date anymore. I'm done with dating. So I fasted every week for a year, 1 day a week for a wife. And I said, Lord, I'm just giving this day to you because I believe you're going to provide the woman who is for me. And 1 year later, I meet my wonderful wife. She's awesome. It's been 32 years and it's been amazing. But there was something about me giving that to God instead of trying to chase it myself and try to fix it myself that made it happen. And what about a place or situation that maybe you long to be in? Well, I want to remind you of Psalm 37:4 that says, take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So in God's calculus, giving means gain. And it's so important that you understand that we all understand that, really. God, his life for you is yours when you give yourself to him. He has this life set for you, specifically for you. It is yours if you surrender to him. And within that space of surrender, he places desires and dreams that he wants to accomplish in you and for you and through you. And so I'm going to conclude with this beautiful quote from Martin Luther, that one of my favorite quotes of all time, because it just really, every time I read it, it reminds me of surrendering to God. He said this, I have held many things in my hands, and I have lost them all. But whatever I placed in God's hands, that I still possess. So think about maybe what God might be inviting you to give up today in order to preserve the life he has given you and to attain the life he has given you, the fullness of what he wants for you. So if you like this podcast, leave a like and check us out. We are on different platforms and so forth, the usual. And so please, if you haven't subscribed, please do so that we can build up this channel. And it's so wonderful to be with you today. Thanks so much for being with us. God bless you.